Now, you're one of the only people I know who actually used a one-time pad. We'll probably lecture about it, I don't know anybody, maybe you guys have used one. You've used one, right? Like, tell us how you were, and you were also using this very interesting means for writing notes back.
Right.
Tell us how that works, and it probably helped to be a chemist to do that, right?
No, not really. It was all
I thought that was going to be a big question.
But the funny thing is, my best German friend, we were really close in college. He wound up as a chemist at the Stasi in the forgery department.
Oh,
He actually forged passports that I may have used.
really?
Anyway, a one-time pad.
Serendipity, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So how did that work? Yeah.
Well, first of all, initially I was trained to use a manual algorithm to come up. See, the encryption of the messages was double. First, you translate your letters into digits, and it seems to be an international standard. Oh, I'm serious. Everywhere you look, there are groups of five. Groups of five. Who came up with that?
ISO.
Paul did.
That's the 11th commandment. The 11th commandment handed down to Moses, I think. Thou shalt use only groups of five. So anyway, so you translate the letters into numbers, and then you have a separate algorithm, which I figured out after a while. This is a way to randomize things and make sure that whatever set of numbers, digits you come out with, there's an equal number of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and so forth. And for the first 8 years I used that. So then you do some math, either add or subtract, and eventually you come up with a message. Those algorithms, I was told, were good for about 300 uses. And eventually there was not enough time to teach me another one, so they gave me the one-time pads. They were about the size of this, maybe half, all right? And it was a regular little notepad, and I had to, I think it may have been like this, develop that with iodine solution, and so the groups of five came up. And they had every transmission, and I got the digits through shortwave Morse code. What they used was identical to what I had, and then you throw it away.
Right.
Next time you use it.
Right.
According to the folks that I've had interaction with in the FBI or as well as in the IT community, that is unbreakable as long as you use it only once.
Yeah, and don't lose the pad.
Then it doesn't work.
Well, that's a big deal,
Right.
right?
And I was wondering if that technology cannot eventually be used to make all the other security measures unnecessary. Except how do you get that pad thing to the other side?
That's the part, it's the I part, right? The infrastructure part. But you hit on it exactly. One-time pad is perfect when you go to RSA and there's a guy up there with a beard and Birkenstock saying perfect cryptography. You raise your hand and you go, well, you know, as long as you're subject to these things, and those are the things that make it hard.
But I tell you, it was such a pain in the neck, particularly while I used the manual algorithm. I would, the shortwave transmission, which by the way is still used, it's preferable to web-based internet point-to-point because you throw it out. Everybody knows that there's a transmission, but nobody knows who's actually listening to it. And so I would listen to it for sometimes for an hour, sometimes for an hour and a half, and then I had to go and develop that manual algorithm. And sometimes these radio commands were really long. It took 2-3 hours to get the equivalent of half a page in a book.
Really?
Pain in the neck.
What kind of information going back and forth?
A lot of, let me see. I didn't get a lot of good instructions from the center because they really didn't know. I was the expert. They gave me a lot of advice and instructions that were all wrong. And at times it was more like the Keystone Cops. instead of what you would think was the most powerful security agency, intelligence agency in the history of mankind. It was the CIA, FBI, NSA, whatever else under one roof, but they had no idea how this country functions. And I don't think the Russians today know much better, except for those who have come here and studied here, right, and worked here for a while. But so, I sent back some information. I profiled people. I sent information about, what the mood of the country is, some basic stuff that you can't find in the newspaper. And guess it's really odd, but once a quarter I had to submit a detailed finance report.
It's like all of us.
Yeah, you have expense reports too.
I did.
You should do it as a one-time pad. When
That's
you submit
right.
your expense report. How cool would that be?
That'd be awesome.
That would be part of that Cisco way.